In this course, you were introduced to the foundations of web development. Let's do a brief recap of what you covered. Module 1 was Get Started with Web Development. In this first module, you learned about the different types of web developers and the roles and responsibilities of front-end, back-end, and full-stack developers. You gained knowledge about the core technologies of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and explored the concept of how the internet works. The module also featured an example to show what a day in the life of a web developer is like. Next, you learned more about web pages, web servers, and web browsers, and how they all work together to create what we call the internet. You covered what happens when you send a request to look for something online and how that information gets back to you. Then, you were introduced to core internet technologies and how they interact. You explored some web browser tools that you can use to help you code more efficiently. Finally, you learned what an IDE is and how it can help you speed up your work to write code. An introduction to HTML and CSS followed in Module 2. In Module 2, you learned about HTML and CSS. In HTML, you discovered how to create an HTML document, use simple HTML tags, and link documents to create a website. Then, you learned about the Document Object Model, or DOM, and how it's used to display the content that you see on your device. In addition, you covered techniques to improve web accessibility and some assistive technologies available to provide universal access to the internet. Next, you learned how to use CSS to style web pages. You explored how to select and style elements and use text, color, and alignment to make the web pages you create look great and offer a great user experience. You then used your new HTML and CSS skills together to create a web page. In Module 3, you learned how to use the Bootstrap framework to build responsive interfaces and got to know the benefits of working with UI frameworks. First, you were introduced to the concept of responsive design and working with libraries. Then, you learned how to get started with the Bootstrap library and how to use Bootstrap styles, and you explored some alternative UI frameworks and libraries. Finally, you were introduced to the JavaScript library React. You learned why it was created by Meta engineers and how it works at a high level. You then briefly explored the virtual DOM, component hierarchy, and some alternatives to React. Well done on completing this course recap. Now it's time to put into practice all that you've learned in the graded assessment. Are you ready to edit your biographical web page? Good luck.